Welcome to the Over and Under podcast. As you can see at the bottom, we got a fraud alert watch. Everybody in the NCAA, everybody in the college football world is on fraud watch. I wish I could say everybody, but it's really the team that I have right here on my head. James, what an exciting, boring weekend of games it was supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
This is the weekend you were supposed to take your girl to the pumpkin patch, go apple picking. You know what I mean? Maybe go watch the Transformers One movie. Do stuff with the family, not sitting in front of the TV. And really watch football games, but actually be a family man. A good boyfriend, a good husband. Not a podcaster. Watching the games and trying to be good. And what happens, James? As you can see, turmoil. Absolute
Mm-hmm.
turmoil. First, everybody, welcome to the Over and Under podcast. My name is Charles, as you know. This is James.
What's up?
We got a lot to talk about, a lot to get through, but I'm gonna go ahead and just, go ahead and give you who's a fraud and who's not, James. Alabama, USC, Michigan, Louisville, Tennessee. You are on alert. Fraud alert. Okay. Fraud watch alert at that. Sorry, fraud watch alert. James, your team's not on here because they had a win, so I know you're happy about that.
you
G's
know,
team is
I
not on here because they had a bye. So
yeah. Yep. Not crazy. Why do you have Alabama on there and Tennessee?
I got them on fraud alert because they lost some games that I didn't think anybody. First of all, let me calm down because I'm really hyper right now. Alabama and Tennessee lost games this weekend because it was a rat trap, and they fell for the rat trap. They got caught in the rat trap just like that. Alabama worse than Tennessee. Now I'm gonna go ahead. As you can see, I'm an Alabama fan, and I have to admit, bro, we got our ass beat. But we gonna get to that game. All right. I know the people probably waiting for that game because we usually start the show off with Colorado. When they win, and hopefully they win next week. That way I can talk my shit again. But if they don't, I'll be here in the Colorado shirt. You feel me? Saying how Colorado should have won. But James, let's start off with a great game that happened in the Big 12, right? You had Texas Tech and Arizona. Arizona going to Texas Tech, going to Lubbock. Got to
Other
go
way
to
around.
West.
Other way
What?
around. It's
Other
Arizona
way around.
to Tech going to Arizona.
Listen, I'm all messed up in the head, brother. You know what? Let me take the hat off. Let me just take the hat off. Maybe it's messing me up like Magneto when he have his helmet on. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
All right, Arizona welcome Texas Tech to their house in Tucson, right?
Mhm.
And it didn't end up like we thought it would. We expected a shootout, but given there were defensive struggles on each side, I didn't watch this game much because I went to sleep after yesterday and after Miami doing what they went through. Your boy needed his rest. So give me some insight on this game, James.
Okay. So, well, I didn't watch this game either. I just came back today and just started watching the clips and stuff. Because for me, I thought, like we said, when was it Wednesday? This was gonna be a shootout completely. I thought Fafita and McMillan were about to go for 2,000 yards. Morton was about to throw to all 500 of his receivers for like 80,000 yards. I thought it was gonna be like 90 to 88. The score was 28-22. A
Wow.
defensive struggle. And on top of that, Arizona only scored one touchdown the whole game. And it was in the fourth quarter.
The rest
So
were field goals?
all the rest were field goals.
Oh my god. So a Kansas State repeat, basically.
Yeah, so Taj Brooks, of course, he's gonna do his thing. He scored 3 touchdowns, 128 on the ground with 28 carries. He looked good. Morton, he tosses it around. He threw for like 200 or 214 or something. Cool. It was their defense though. Shockingly, Texas Tech defense like shutting down this attack for Arizona. They caused 2 interceptions and a fumble, but Arizona also caused 2 fumbles for Tech as well, both coming from Brooks. But they forced Fafita to throw 2 picks. Blew my mind. I didn't think Tech's defense was good, to be honest. It's a Big 12 defense. From the last few games, they've been shootouts from ACU to the 66
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. They dropped 66 points on somebody, and the other team had like 30 or so. So you don't expect a lot of defense coming from Tech. Shut these dudes down. All field goals, 4 field goals and a touchdown for 22 points. That's with missing 6 starters on defense. So I don't know if Arizona is just all hype or if Tech is just that good. And I wrote down here: is this the worst 5-1 team in the country, or was Arizona beating Utah a fluke?
Listen, I think the Big 12 is a fluke. If we want to be real,
Okay.
like let's just take off a couple of games. Kansas State gets beat by BYU. BYU barely scrapes by Baylor. Baylor gets barely scraped by Colorado. Barely beats Baylor. Utah gets beat by Arizona, and Arizona gets absolutely thrashed by Kansas State. The only common denominator in here is Texas Tech. And that's what's crazy. If we really want to think about it, Texas Tech is the common denominator right here. Texas Tech is a 5-1 team. 5-1. They are at the top of their league right now in the Big 12. James, we're talking about Texas Tech. I hope people understand that.
Let me give you this for the conferences. Who's leaders? ACC is Clemson right now. Big 12 is Tech. Big 10 is Indiana. SEC, A&M. AAC, Army. Conference USA, Liberty, and Sam Houston. The MAC, it's a 7-way tie at 1-0. Mountain West, San Jose State, and Sunbelt, it's UL Monroe. Texas Tech, Indiana, and A&M.
If you would have told me in the summer, if you could like go back and be like, hey, Charles, I just want to let you know in week 6, Texas Tech, Indiana, and A&M are going to be leading their divisions, I probably would have locked you up. I probably would have called the cops. I would have been like, sir, there's a crackhead at my front door and he is spewing bullshit. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But as you can see, James, like, what if Texas Tech is the best team in the Big 12?
I don't know. They still haven't played BYU, so I'm still pulling for them. But again, Tech is 5-1. But we've seen their struggles from the beginning of the season with ACU. And what was the other close game that they had? They had another close game after that. But they've been prevailing and they've been winning out. Oh, they lost to Washington State pretty bad too, the second game of the season. And
what
that's
about
when
Iowa State?
Iowa State still undefeated, but I don't think they played as many conference games. That's why Tech's ahead. But I don't know. That's what I was asking. Is Tech for real? Or are they like just getting by? And that's why I asked, are they one of the worst 5-1 teams? Or are we seeing something that we haven't seen since 2010, 2009 with Crabtree in them? They're not ranked, but
they're not ranked, but they are starting to use their freshman wide receiver. I see, like everybody else in the league.
Caught one pass.
So, hey, it's better than what he's been getting. I mean, we can at least give him that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Hold on 1 second, guys. Gotta get my hat. I feel lost. You feel me? We back. We back in action. We got the Magneto back on. All right. So look, Texas Tech is the best 5-1 team, I think, right now. Texas Tech is definitely top 3 in the Big 12. But can we agree the Big 12 is a fluke right now?
I wouldn't say a fluke. I would say we expected this from the Big 12 that at the beginning of the season when we started recording, we said the Big 12 always beats themselves up. They go through the conference, everyone beats everybody, and then whoever has that one loss at the end of the season usually makes it to the championship, the Big 12 championship. And right now, that's what we're seeing, exactly how we predicted. Big 12 just whooping each other's ass. It just so happens that Tech is on top of that right now, and their one loss comes out of conference. So
October's
I
gonna be fun. October's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be
I'm
spooky.
yeah. I don't know if I'm ready to put all my eggs in the Texas Tech basket, but again, they're 5-1, beat a great Arizona team. Fafita, McMillan. I mean, McMillan got his. Fafita, he threw two
Miller gonna
picks.
always get his.
Yeah, but I mean, you can get yours, but if you don't win the game, what does it matter? Especially right now
Exactly.
in the Big 12, what is that? They have 3 losses now. One to
Yep.
Kansas State, one to Tech. They beat a good Utah team, but you're not going to see the playoffs unless you win out the rest of the season and somehow make it to the Big 12 championship. Maybe, but it's not looking good for Arizona. And Texas Tech, they control their own destiny right now. Looks like, let's look at the rest of their schedule right now. See what they got, because every game that I thought they were going to lose, they've won. So maybe I don't know anything. And that's because they're injury prone right now, and they have so many people out. So if they get these people back, how good is Tech? You know what I mean? If the schedule comes up,
Fluky, man. I think
fluky.
it's just a fluke, man.
You think it's just a fluke?
I think the whole Big 12, even Colorado, they had a bye week. I mean, you look at Utah, even look at the Iowa State Baylor game. Iowa State Baylor game was close until Baylor just made stupid mistakes like they always do. So
So, oh, sorry. Let me give you the schedule. So they have a bye this coming week, and then they play Baylor, TCU, Iowa State, Colorado, Oklahoma State, West Virginia.
listen, if they lose to TCU after what I just saw TCU put me through on a Friday night, it's a fluke. It's definitely a fluke. But to move on, because we talked about an ass whooping, right? That basically everyone in the Big 12 is whipping each other's ass and just knocking each other's off. James, I don't know if Missouri didn't get the memo. You feel me? I don't know if they didn't know that, like, when you show up to a stadium in Texas A&M, that you had to actually come prepared to, like, catch balls and run the ball and coach. This was belt to ass, straight from the first second of the game to the last second of the game.
Listen,
Belt to ass.
I think it was the last podcast, from Monday, that we talked about how Missouri has not been, great. They've been okay. They haven't been impressive though, with close games back to back. Let me bring up their schedule real quick. But like I said, they're missing something to put them over the edge, but they just have not looked good. So, like I said the last time, they beat Vanderbilt 30-27 in overtime, beat Boston College 27-21. These are teams that you're supposed to just be, killing. So going into them, like, I don't know if they deserve that number 1 ranking. I think they're okay, but they don't look like a dominant SEC team playing these ACC teams, or like one of your bottom teams from SEC with Vanderbilt. No shade to Vanderbilt, because we saw what happened this week. But we've been saying Vanderbilt has been on the cusp of upsetting somebody. Just so happens Alabama.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Back to A&M, Missouri. Missouri came into this game and looked just fraudulent, bro. If you want to talk about
Awful.
fraud, you should have put somebody in there. Missouri. And I should have just called it when I saw the last 2 games. But I was like, maybe they just got to figure it out. No. Frauds. A&M's defense is solid. They looked really good on the defensive side of the ball. The trenches looked crazy. I don't know if you saw the one of the corners. I think it was the day before the game or at the beginning of the game.
He sent
He
the
was cut.
blanket to Weeze.
Yeah, bro.
That's
Yeah,
insane. That's diabolical, psychotic right there. I just want to let
yeah,
you know.
bro. So if you're Missouri, you have a that extra edge. You want to go in there. You want to go show out. 10 points. 10 points, bro.
But Brady
Uh,
Cook didn't have like I think 60 yards at halftime.
yeah, bro. And I picked Brady Cook for throw at least 200. That didn't happen. Uh, the total offense for A&M was 512 and 276 in the air and 236 on the ground. Pretty balanced. Missouri just couldn't move the ball on A&M at all. They could not do anything. The defensive line just took over, just was killing Brady Cook. 6 sacks from A&M. 6 total sacks. Crazy. Um, what was Luther Burden? He had like 70 yards or so, but no touchdowns, nothing. It just so happens Buddy that got the blanket scored their only touchdown, but it was just on a blown coverage. If you would, I don't know if you saw the play or not, but Luther Burden ran into I forget the other receiver's route. Weaver, I think his last name. Weaver's route. And that corner actually came down to help he thought he was going to Burden. So it just went over his head and the buddy scored. And that was their only touchdown. But Missouri did not look good at all. And then we go to A&M, killed it on the run game. Moss, 12 carries, 138 yards, and 3 touchdowns, bro. With another 2 touchdowns coming on the ground from Daniels, the backup running back. So
Everybody eat.
yeah,
Everybody just eating against Missouri, I guess. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
bro. Yeah, it was crazy. And what is the quarterback's name? I forget his name all the time for A&M.
Connor Wigman.
Oh, Wigman. This man Wigman coming off a shoulder injury and scrambling, not sliding, throwing his shoulder into defenders. This man came out there to play. He was not playing around with these kids from Mizzou, bro. He was out there and slinging it and running it. It did not matter. They did whatever they wanted to Missouri, and it was just embarrassing for supposedly the number 9 team in the nation to get blown out like this by A&M. We saw A&M against Notre Dame, and the next few games after that, they didn't look good. They didn't look good.
Hear me
But
out. Oh,
okay,
go
go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought. No, go
Okay.
ahead. Finish your thought.
Well, but we saw how they were consistently getting better, and then they had Reed into the offense, and he was getting them dubs. And then Wigman comes back, and they blow somebody out. So, did we write off A&M too soon, or is just Missouri's just that bad?
We judged A&M correctly. Missouri judged A&M badly. I'm going to tell you why. Missouri game plan was for Marcel Reed. It wasn't for Connor Wigman.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri's game plan was for Marcel Reed. They didn't think Texas A&M was going to be able to throw that much. They thought it was going to be most of Marcel Reed, like the game script for him, right? Connor Wigman was a game time decision because he was questionable. So as soon as Connor Wigman comes out there, I think this is a really Missouri dropped the ball as a coaching staff. That's what I really think happened because I don't think that you come prepared as an SEC team, especially Missouri, Eli Drinkwitz, from a 10-win season last year to beating Ohio State in your bowl game. You look shaky. Yeah, Cook is regressing. You don't have Cody Schrader as your running back, but you still got Luther Burden. You still got Weeze, right? But you don't have your defensive coordinator from last year. You don't have Blake Baker, right? Blake Baker got the hell out of town, went to LSU. So now you got somebody new in there, and you got some transfers. And as we know, transfers are not really working out for everybody. And this is what happens. You come unprepared. You come unprepared for a game at College Station at that. After your quarterback just said over the media, it's louder in practice. You gave those people that energy that it was louder in practice than in the 12th man. Baker couldn't hear shit in that stadium, bro. The reason
Yep.
I didn't put Missouri on the fraud list was because I don't think Missouri fooled us. We knew this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
We saw, like you said, we saw the Vandy game. They almost lost to Vandy. right? And there were a couple games before that we saw. Like we knew this was
Bo-
coming.
Boston College is
Yeah,
close.
Boston College. Yeah. So I'm not really surprised at all, but this another one bites the dust. This is our first top 25 team that got their ass beat on Sunday, basically, right?
Before we move into it, so do you like you said as a coaching staff, how do you not prepare for Wigman to maybe show up?
I think you don't prepare for Wigman to show up because Marcel Reed looks so well with A&M. You think they're gonna go with him because you just think they're gonna go with him. Like it's just maybe a coach's instinct, right? Like, yeah, they're gonna go with and they're gonna go for Reed. If they go for Wigman, he might come in a couple of plays. That shoulder may be really messed up. We don't think he could heal from that shoulder injury in 2-3 weeks. Well, really, in 4 weeks, a month. And if he does, we won't think he won't be that effective. And you were wrong. You were
Mm-hmm.
absolutely wrong. He was way more than effective. He was out there slinging the rock. You feel me?
That
Like
man was throwing his shoulder into defenders, bro. He did not care.
yo, whatever they shot him up with, whatever cryptotherapy that he got. You feel me? Before that, whatever he went to Germany in the last month, and they shot that up in him. They need to shoot it in McCaffrey also, since we're going to Germany to get stuff done. Yeah, man. They just dropped the ball. And to be honest with you, Missouri's not making the playoff. I'm definitely
Oh
throwing
no,
Missouri out the playoff.
no, I was gonna say the same thing. They're not. They're gonna have a lot more losses down the line.
So another one bites the dust for the top 25.
Again, oh, not again, but real quick. So you think A&M is the same team from the the Notre Dame game, or
No,
have they had they gotten better?
their defense has got a lot better. And I think that goes a testament to your coach Mike Elko because with Elko, he's a defensive coach, right? That's what he does. Like he coaches defense. And I think he brings another level to A&M as being like a competitor. And I'm pretty sure like after Notre Dame, he was like, look, that's all we can afford. If we want to get to this goal, if we want to go to the playoffs, we are in the toughest division of college football. We can't lose. And if we do lose, it has to be so close of a margin that they think of it as like that was a good loss.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure practice has been more intense. I'm pretty sure his um his attention to the defense has been more key. So I think Mike Elko and Texas A&M is number one in the SEC, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's Texas A&M, Texas, and they play at the end of the year.
Yeah. We'll see if A&M can keep up this pressure down the line. But as of right now, they're on top of SEC.
And man, speaking of being on top of the SEC and then absolutely losing your shit. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into it, James. All right. First of all, for the people who said Bama defense was going to be absolutely horrible this season because we had lost Caleb Downs, we had lost some key coaches. We bought King Wan back in, a head coach from South Alabama. We lost a lot of people in the transfer portal. I would like to say you were wrong because after that Georgia game, James, you couldn't tell me shit after that Georgia game. You hear me? On a pedestal. And what happens when you put somebody on a pedestal? They fall hard as shit. All right, James. Let me give you some stats. Vandy time of possession 42 minutes. Alabama 17 minutes. Vanderbilt 12 for 18 on third downs, 4 for 4 in the red zone. Alabama loses the turnover battle. Milrow throws a fluke interception and they fumble on a punt return in Vandy's territory, or in Alabama's territory, and they score. Alabama rushed for 84 yards. Vandy rushed for 166. 6 penalties from Bama for 57 yards. Now, before I get into the quarterback play, I just want to go ahead and let you know this goes on the coaching staff for not having your players ready. This goes on Kane Wambach for not making adjustments to fucking Diego Pavia. That is twice he has terrorized the state of Alabama. Last year he was at New Mexico State. He went down to Auburn and kicked their ass. They got paid for that. And then Alabama and Vandy. At least we didn't have to pay Vandy, but we were the number one team in the nation. Vandy's doing construction on their stadium. It ain't even done. And you lost. Not even you lost. You got your ass kicked. I don't care about the Ryan Williams touchdown. We've been knowing you like that. I don't care about the Jalen Milroe 310 yards, 1 touchdown. I don't care about that. What I care about is how Dave Pavia goes 16 for 20. Diego Pavia goes 16 for 20, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, 20 carries, 56 yards. You let a tight end go for 6 receptions, 113 yards. Vandy has not beat Alabama since 1984. I wasn't born yet. Wasn't even made. James, here's my thing, and I'll let you talk about what you saw in the game. If Kalen DeBoer doesn't make Kane Wambach absolutely grind in that film room and make adjustments quick, our secondary and our everything is done. It's done. Like we already got exposed by Georgia in the second half, and Vandy just basically pulled our pants down and started spanking us in the middle of the fucking field. And now we got to go play Tennessee. We got to go play Missouri. We got to play Auburn. You're telling me that Alabama's about to beat Georgia, but then lose to everybody else because we don't have a defense? You can see our offense can score in a minute, 2 minutes, 3 plays. We got the athletes. Where am I? What's wrong? What's wrong in this world when Bama loses to Andy?
If I'm A&M, bro, I'm putting in Reed when we play Alabama because obviously they can't stop a scrambling quarterback. Because Diego was all over the field, bro. And I hate to say it, but I love that shit. I was paid for this downfall.
That's absolutely wild.
That shit was beautiful. Hell yeah. But like I said, if going forward, bro, if you have a scrambling quarterback, throw him in there because Alabama don't know what to do on defense if somebody's running around as quarterback out there. Yeah, you have Carson Bay that can throw the ball everywhere and everything, but Alabama can figure that out and stop it. But if you have somebody like Diego Pavia just slinging it and then running it and doing whatever he wants on the field, obviously Alabama don't know what the hell to do. And you saw that firsthand this week. Yeah, they came back and everything, but they were down by a lot. The fact that you went down by that much to Vanderbilt, and no shade to Vanderbilt because they've been giving everybody hell this season. And well, I said it a few weeks ago. I said they're going to get one against somebody. I just didn't think it was going to be Alabama. And here we are, bro. They got theirs. But I just like the way he played, man. They played super aggressive. They held on to the ball when they needed to just to, hold out Alabama. Of course, yeah, Alabama's going to make their runs because they're Alabama. They have all the talent on that side of the ball. But Vanderbilt held their own, especially when they did come back and made it like a one-score game. They went downfield and threw a bomb into the end zone and went right back up. So
they didn't cower down to the A. They didn't cower down to this logo. They got Diego Pavia really the transfer portal has brought another edge to teams against these elite schools that paid under the table for players for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
It is an even playing field. You have to show up every game. It doesn't matter if it's the team in the last of the rankings or it's the team in the middle or the team right next to you. You have to show up every time you step on the field. You have to try your best, you have to play your best, you have to coach your best. We didn't coach our best. Offense played okay. Defense didn't. I don't. Defense should have just stayed on the fucking bus. We probably would have been better. We could have made it a shootout for real. For real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like you
So
said, real quick, you said this dude Diego terrorized Auburn last year at New Mexico State.
terrorized.
Alabama has that film. They saw what this man did, and he played for New Mexico State with lesser talent than what he has at Vanderbilt. And he comes to Vanderbilt, so you should be prepared for how this man's going to play on the football field with scrambling, throwing, whatever he wants to do. And you put out that type of effort against him just because it's Vandy. I don't know, bro. It's something needs to be something has to change going into this next week on defense, because you can't have that. Because now the world sees like, okay, we can just run around with somebody out as QB, and Alabama don't know what to do, and they're just lost out there. Yeah,
they don't know what to do in play action.
Yeah, the play action this dude was using is insane too. Did you see that?
We ran it in high school, James. We ran it in high school. James, the plays, I'm looking at it. I'm like, yo, that's play action. That's the play action 46 counter we used to run at Millie Christian. What are we doing right now?
It wasn't anything fancy or nothing.
It was nothing fancy, special. You're telling me a coach that was a head coach at South Alabama can't tell your linebackers, hey, watch the play, keep your eyes out the backfield. It's a play action. Watch the flats. Watch the cross. Like,
but the one
Nick
that he
Saban,
did though,
Nick Saban would have been fuming. I know he was fuming on College Game Day. In my mind, the thing I said, I was watching a movie and tracking this game. Listen, Nick Saban didn't build his empire for Kalen DeBoer to come fuck it up in one season. Okay, we need to get it together quick. And I mean, I don't want to hear no more music at practice. I don't want to see no more TikToks. I don't want to see none of that. Nobody going to podcasts. I want work. I want results. God damn it! You hear me? I'm tired. I have to hear this. I'm going to hear this shit all week about Vanderbilt. I've been hearing the anchor down all goddamn 2 days. Last 2 days. All right. Not Roll Tide. Not nothing.
Real quick, back at the play action. This one play action that he did, they blitzed off the edge, bro. And this dude play actions and then spun off the sack and threw it downfield. I was like, oh, yeah, Alabama's done.
It's over with. It's over with. So
another thing I want to talk about Alabama before we move on. I don't know if you saw it, but close to the end of the game, we had some extracurriculars going on out there with the Alabama players.
Malik Moore was throwing a temper tantrum. Kalen DeBoer said, that's from him, like working so hard and everything. But however, that is a character issue that they have to correct, because that shouldn't be happening. If that was Nick Saban, Alabama, he would have probably not played next game, or probably he would have been running bleachers till today. Feel me? At 5:00. But that goes to tell you what you. It's the same thing. How last year Billy Napier didn't have control of his team, and Florida were committing all those personal penalties and losing them games. It's the same way. We can't have that. Nowhere you lost. Okay, you lost the game, and actually that goes to talk about the team too. Where was your leader? Where was Jalen Milroe? Where were your other leaders on the team? So
that's just looks like it's a different culture in Alabama. I don't know. Maybe it's just one game.
Better be a winning culture. I know goddamn that well.
I don't know.
Hear me out though. Vandy should be 4-1.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
The Missouri game was the Missouri game was like telling us like, hey, they're close. They're really close. When I mean
Hmm.
really close, James, they're probably a wide receiver and a good running back away from competing with Ole Miss, Tennessee, and damn near Oklahoma. They got the
Yeah,
coaching staff and they're developing the players. It's been a long time since Vandy's had this. And who
yeah.
knew? All it took was a goddamn, Hispanic heritage quarterback to win to beat Bama on the Hispanic Heritage Month. Who knew? You know what I mean?
All it took.
That's all it took. And it's going now. Now they have the formula. Now they
Hmm.
know how to beat Bama. That's crazy. Now you know how to beat Bama. But going on, Bama's gonna play some crazy games. They're 4-1. Vandy goes 3-2 for the season, and Vandy is in the middle of the rankings. They're not in the bottom anymore. That would be Mississippi State that's at the bottom.
Yep.
Vandy said, "Put respect on their name, and when you come play us, or when we come play you, this is not old Vandy anymore. This is Diego Pavia's Vandy, and he coming because he's fucking turned apparently."
Sure is, bro. Sure is. That's
So
just crazy.
now we're gonna backtrack a little bit. We got to go to Friday Night Lights. It was your time to shine. Okay. Once again, a Friday night game did not disappoint. We had Oregon versus Michigan State. Oregon versus Michigan State. Turnover after turnover after turnover after turnover. I was kind of worried for y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Dylan Gabriel threw 2 interceptions in the red zone. Um, but tell me this, James. When did y'all get a running back?
See, Jordan, he's been good. He's just haven't had that breakout game. He's had it like 80, 90, but he's always getting a touchdown. But this was his breakout game, and we needed that breakout game from him to build some more confidence so we can give him the ball a little bit more because, I mean, we're throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game, and we had this running back just waiting in the wings just to get fed a little bit more. And this was the game for it because you see Dylan Gabriel, he's already thrown 2 picks in the red zone. We got to change it up. So I'm glad that he got more carries and showed up with it. I forgot how many yards he had for this
He
game,
had
but
166 yards on
yeah.
24 carries.
So we can just run the ball a little bit more. We don't have to, do these dick and dumps and everything because we have a running back in the backfield and we can work on more play action and take some more shots downfield and stuff. But it's just we got to keep this trajectory of running the ball solid like this, and not just when Dylan Gabriel's having a bad game. You know what I mean? And like I said on the Monday show, we're probably gonna play a bad first quarter, first half against Michigan State because Ohio State had the same thing going into it with Michigan State, and then we're gonna turn it up and go. And exactly what happened. Dylan Gabriel wasn't playing his best. Good thing our defense stepped up and kept us in it. And then, you know what? Give it to Jordan. Let him roll. And here we are, 31-10. So good game for Oregon. I hope we clean up a little bit of those turnovers. And who we got next? Ohio State.
It's a
We got
big
to
game.
turn.
It's a big
Yeah, we got to
week.
turn it up now. We got
You
to
got to turn up at
get.
home.
Yeah, got to lock in now. We playing a really good team, so we can't have these dumb turnovers and having to come back or struggle like we did against the Idaho teams. It's time to lock in and play that good Oregon football. So I hope we figure it out and get things done during practice this week. And once Ohio State get over here to Eugene, well, not over here, I'm in Texas, but in Eugene, we blow them out or something. You know
uh,
what I mean?
I was impressed with your defense. With Oregon's defense, they were 2 for
Mm-hmm.
11. They gave up. Michigan State was 2 for 11 on third downs, and they only had 59 rushing yards. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a big thing for me. I knew offensively y'all could move the ball, right? Dylan Gabriel, I knew he had a couple picks, but it is what it is. I knew y'all were going to be
Yeah.
able to score because it was y'all were running the ball so well. But that defense really stepped up. The defensive line looked good. The corners look good. I mean, they're going to need that this
Yeah.
coming up week against.
And
Jeremiah
And that
Smith
was
for
a
sure.
that was another concern of mine because the defense at the beginning of the season they didn't look too hot with playing the way they played against Idaho and then playing the way they played against Boise State. But slowly they've started to pick it up. And then this game they had a really really good game against Michigan State with holding them to 59 yards and the turnovers on Michigan State. So I'm hoping this is just what we need to keep moving forward in the Big Ten and just keep rolling out wins because, like you said, we need this defense to play really well next week because it ain't gonna be no cakewalk.
Nah, it's gonna be like the games I had in Washington last week. It's gonna be
Yeah,
down to
yeah,
the or last year. It's gonna be down to the wire.
yeah.
But to close the lights out on that, or to shut the lights off on that, um, let's talk about the battle in Vegas. Syracuse, UNLV. Syracuse heads to UNLV. As we all know, Malik Williams is the quarterback now for UNLV since the Saluka controversy with the NIL. James, I like Kyle McCord. Okay. I'm a Kyle McCord fan. I really thought Ohio State did him bad. I think he was worth more than what they were trying to give him. But this game, as we talked about, what was better, this game and the Oregon State game, or the Oregon versus Michigan State, this game was crazy.
Yeah.
Overtime, Syracuse wins 44-41. A lot of controversy calls in this game, right? A lot. But the main problem I want to talk about, what the hell is wrong with Syracuse punt team? What is wrong with their punt team? 2 block punts, one for a touchdown, and the other one they recovered. It happens to you twice in one game. And not to say that the person who blocks it not only blocks, but he also averaged 13 yards per catch on you for 10 receptions and 135 yards. Name is Ricky White the third. Okay, that he's going on my Heisman ballot. Definitely,
Oh,
probably one of my players for the James. He was everywhere. He returned punts. He was blocking punts. He was catching the balls. He was blocking people. He was a superstar.
this is for
He definitely,
UNLV.
yeah, for UNLV,
Okay.
Ricky White the third. Definitely somebody that was definitely put on the NFL radar this game for sure. Um, I don't think there's a better UNLV team or a better G5 team than UNLV. Maybe Boise State, as we saw them absolutely score 50 points and a half against Utah State, but it's Utah State. So
Ruining my
I'm not really,
parlay, but it is what it is.
it is what it is, you know what I mean? Um but yeah, man, another standout for Syracuse, we had a Gatson. He had 10 catches, 142 yards, 14 yards per carry. He was working like a workhorse for Kyle McCord. And then the play that ends the game or ends the overtime, LaQuint Allen runs the ball on the 1 yard line. He stopped, okay? He stopped on the 1 yard line. But that weight room, that dedication, that motivation to just keep pushing through was better than the person that he was going against, that linebacker on UNLV. And he pushes through and he goes in, and the game is over with. An instant classic, I'll tell you. Kyle McCord was 40 for 63, 355 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Malik Williams, 21 for 25, 227, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 12 carries for 53 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. You can't ask for a better game from the kid.
Yeah. Real quick. You remember last year when Cody was calling Kyle McCord trash?
What did I
Cody,
say?
Cody, I hope you're listening, bro.
I
Because
really hope you listen.
I think I was on that same bandwagon. But
Oh yeah,
I'm
you were.
a,
I got the messages. Yeah. I keep the
uh,
receipts.
I'm taking what I said back because I mean this man he's transferred to Syracuse and he's been balling out. But Cody, I hope you're listening, bro. But obviously we were wrong. Just say that.
So
Just saying.
a great game in Vegas. Syracuse comes out on top. UNLV drops another game. Hopefully they can kind of keep that 12th spot in the playoffs. But We'll see because as of right now, they're not in the top 25, and SMU is number 25. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, so as we move on, USC got their welcome to the Big Ten experience. I wouldn't say it was a Michigan game because Michigan just has way better athletes. But USC versus Minnesota was a matchup in the mud. Okay,
Yeah.
Minnesota's been in the Big Ten mud for a long time. They get their wins out the mud, and they told USC, "Hey, welcome to the party. Strap up your boots. Go ahead and get in here and let's scrap out." Minnesota's coach PJ Fleck, I salute you, my guy. You dropped your balls. Okay. You finally dropped your balls and you put your team, you trusted your team. James, on the goal line with less than a minute left, instead of taking the field goal, which everyone
Twice.
said twice. Third and one, fourth and goal on the one, third and goal on the one, fourth and goal on the one. Twice you ran quarterback sneak.
Mm-hmm.
You got it in. The analytics were telling you to take the field goal. But you knew if you took that field goal, then Miller Moss was going to go down there and shatter your dreams, and you're going to take an L. However, you didn't, and you won the game, right? We need to talk about USC, though. They're on my fraudulent list. The defense is no better. They're still missing tackles, James.
Yeah.
We're still missing tackles.
They didn't look good at all. And I don't know if they're still shook from the Michigan game or what it is. But their offense can move the ball. We all can agree on that. But the USC defense, I don't know if they're just missing a piece or they're just downright just not good. Because you shouldn't let Minnesota just run the ball on you like this, bro. It's crazy.
25 carries, 144 yards, 5.8 yards per carry. I ain't never heard of Darius Taylor
I'm
in
saying.
Big Ten. And I watch Big Ten now. I watch Big Ten football. Darius Taylor never came up on my parlay radar. Because if I
I'm
knew he was
saying.
averaging 5 yards a carry, I would have been like, hey, you went to Hot Brooks every Saturday. Y'all are definitely.
It's crazy too because on my parlays, this game didn't even pop up on my parlay, so I couldn't even put money down if I wanted to. That's how
Something.
much they weren't respecting Minnesota, and look what happened.
That's what somebody knew
Crazy.
something.
Yeah. I
Minnesota,
don't know, bro.
USC's defensive line got bullied pretty
Yeah.
bad in this game. And I don't know if USC is a destination for defensive linemen to be successful, right? Because usually it's your skill players, your wide receivers, your quarterbacks, maybe your tight ends, right? I've never heard of really like elite defensive linemen coming out of or being recruited to USC. So that might
Yeah.
be a problem. And
Well, we
maybe
saw a buddy that, redshirted this year. He said he was done. He's
yeah,
going to transfer out. So,
he's been transferring for like how he been transferring everywhere. So
mhm.
maybe that's a problem over there that they need to attack pretty hard in the offseason. Shout out though to Coy Perch, freshman, 5 solo tackles for Minnesota, game-winning interception, a forced fumble in the first half. Already an all-star, already a captain on this team. As PJ Flex said in his interview, you don't get many like that really start shining in their freshman year. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
17. You know what I mean? Shout out to Ryan Williams. I don't know if he's 17 or he's 18 like Jeremiah Smith, but he's definitely hooping over there in Minnesota.
Well, we saw what happened when they played Michigan. Total rushing yards was 290 for Michigan. And then Minnesota returns right back around with 193 rushing yards. And Buddy had 144. So, like you said, it could be a real problem of maybe USC just can't recruit well on the defensive line, because if you're USC and you make these playoffs and everything, you shouldn't be giving up rushing yards the way that they have been the last 2 games. So in the Big Ten, they have a lot of good running backs, and the schedule ain't getting any easier. I mean, they're probably done now. They probably aren't making the playoff spot unless something crazy happens. Let's go down the line. So they got Penn State next.
That'll be a good game. Penn State didn't look pretty hot against UCLA.
Did they not? I thought they blew them out.
No, they didn't blow them out. It didn't look that great. It was like they won by like 14.
27-11.
Yeah.
Penn State, Maryland, Rutgers got Rutgers running the ball. Washington, Nebraska, UCLA, and then Notre Dame. So Washington can run the ball well. Rutgers can run the ball well. Penn State, like you said, they did struggle with UCLA, but they also can run the ball pretty well once they get their running back because he was injured. The only reason I know that is because I put him in my parlay, but they said he was out. They scratched that for me, but that's the only reason I knew he was out. But
oh my gosh.
Anyway. But yeah, you have a few good teams over here that can run the ball pretty well. So USC got to figure out something on that side of the ball, bring in more blitzes, something, because you're getting gashed the last 2 games, and that's because Minnesota isn't one of the greater Big Ten teams, and you still got gashed. So your schedule is not getting any easier.
Yeah, and you're in a conference that's not getting any easier. Also, like they're only getting better. Indiana is 6-0. Rutgers has lost 1 game, 2 games now.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska is doing well, so you better start recruiting the trenches. Quick and in a hurry. And
Indiana is leading the Big Ten right now, so you better figure it out. You see it, USC,
Indiana, not Ohio State. Well, they haven't played that many conference game, but we're talking about Indiana is 6-0, first time ever in Indiana history that's 6-0.
So you coming in from the Pac-12 and Big Ten say, all right, y'all can come over here, but we're just gonna get that much better, and y'all gonna have some problems.
They getting packed up. That's exactly what's happening. The boys getting packed up in the Big Ten. But shout out to Minnesota for pulling off that win. Hopefully USC can get better. James, now I know I was sad about Alabama, all right? But there's nothing that makes me more happy than when Tennessee loses a goddamn game. You hear me? And the way that they lost this game was great because it exposed something. Nico is still a freshman.
Okay, I was about to say, you can tell this man is still young because you have to give yourself a chance, bro.
Boy, it was shaking like this. You feel me? Shaking like a strip on a pole in Atlanta, and then the whole game. Arizona. This game could have been like 30. I'm sorry, Arkansas. This game could have been 30-14, bro. Arkansas was whooping Tennessee's ass, but every time they were getting to the red zone, like they went to the red zone 3 drives and only came away with 3 points. Mm-hmm. I love being aggressive, but we got to put some plays together to get in the end zone, right?
Yeah, right.
Like we said, Nico is finally looking like a redshirt freshman, and Taylor Green was having a great game until he got injured, late in the 4th quarter. But when duty calls, the Razorbacks answers. Okay, Malik Singleton, never heard of him, comes in, puts Arkansas on his back. Freshman running back Braylon Russell didn't know where he came from.
The number 0, bro.
Yo, big as hell.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But he quick on his feet. You hear me? Had some great runs. Andrew Armstrong before he went out. Andrew Armstrong, the wide receiver, had a great game. He had 9 catches, 132 yards. They couldn't really stop him. A real SEC battle happened right here. Okay, the one with Alabama and Vandy was an ass whooping. This is primetime TV. This is the TV product that people stay up to like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to watch. Tennessee's offensive line gave up 4 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. And then, bro, Nico at the end of the game, I don't know what he's thinking.
Bro. Like I said, you have to give yourself a chance, man. The clock is ticking down. You can't just roll out of bounds. And that's where being young kind of comes into play of just he's still a freshman, but at that point in the game, at least throw it in the end zone. Something could happen. You never know. At least do that. You can't just run it out. And that's probably the worst thing you could do as Tennessee, because now everyone's like, all we gotta do is just pressure him and just make him shake in his boots because he's just gonna crumble. 156 yards passing, no touchdowns, and he looked all of the 156 yards, bro. He did not look comfortable in the pocket at all. He did not look great at all. Only thing that kept him in the game was Samson, the running back. He had like 20 or 40 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Man, I thought Tennessee was them dogs, but I don't know. Like you said, frauds, but I'm not ready to throw them in there yet. But I'm like, oh, about to just, shoot them over there. But right now, I still think they're a good team. They just ran into a really good Arkansas team because Arkansas almost beat A&M last week. So what does that tell you? And then and then A&M just whooped the shit out of Missouri. Excuse my language, but
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do we really know, James? Like, let's be honest, because I said that Nico was a better quarterback than Carson Beck last week.
Yeah, you said that. I didn't go that far.
I did. I'll stand on that hill. You feel me? I'll stand on Rocky Top with an A on my head. But yeah, so it's the SEC is becoming the Big 12 pretty quick.
I was about to say that. I was about to ask you that.
Everybody's knocking off everybody. We're gonna have Texas A&M and Texas play the last game of the season, and then they're gonna turn around a week later and then play in the SEC championship because Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Tennessee are just gonna beat each other. And then somehow, some way, Vandy's gonna sneak in the playoff. Don't ask me why. I as right now, even with the Alabama on my hat on my head, I think I'm into the Diego Pavia agenda. I think I'm switching it for the Fafita agenda, and I'm going Diego Pavia. I might order me a Vandy shirt. You know what I mean?
I don't blame
you. Who knows? But
do not blame you.
Shout out to Arkansas because I really needed them to win that game for me to feel better before I went to sleep. With that L on my record. But excuse me, shout out to them, and we'll see what happened next. But yeah.
That the Coke versus woke is insane, bro.
James, listen.
No, wait a minute.
No. Listen,
Why?
James, listen. This theme has been going on all week with California's Twitter. All right.
Okay.
It has been the Coke versus woke. Okay. James, do you know the side effects to cocaine? They're hallucinations, fast heartbeat, blurred vision, and that is exactly what Miami was in the first half. They couldn't feel their heart. They couldn't fucking see where they were throwing the ball. Cam Ward was hallucinating everywhere. He was seeing ghosts. He was getting sacked. He thought he had all the time in the world. I just want you to know, I went to sleep when Cam Ward had threw an interception in the third quarter and they had returned it. And I said, you know what? That's it. 38 to 18, or sorry.
It was
35
to 7. Oh, I thought it was 35-7.
35, no, it's 35-18.
Okay.
They had scored 35-14. I'm sorry, 35-14. I said, you know what? I'm going to sleep. This is not worth my time. The first thing I did when I woke and I opened my eyes, the Lord blessed me with this morning, as I had to go see who won in the Coke and woke. Okay. And when I saw Miami 39 and California 38, I said to myself, I should have known that anybody that names a game Coke and woke should have took Miami, because The Coke was not losing at 2 in the morning, James. They were on that shit all night. Okay, hear me out. Miami's defense is shit. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Florida State absolutely locked down California. Florida State locked down Cali. Miami let them boys come in there or went to them boys' house late at night, walked in their trap and thought they was gonna take over their trap. And California locked the door behind them and said, "Run it." Like we've been waiting. Run it, right? Second half, Cam Ward, Heisman. It's his Heisman moment. In the second half, he was 21 for 32, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns. A comeback, James. A comeback. And also, Damian Martinez needs to be benched. It needs to be Fletcher. Fletcher needs to get all the carries. I don't care if he's a freshman. Fletcher needs to get all the carries. I don't know, James. You tell me what you think.
How good is Miami, bro?
Not
because
good.
you can't have 2 back-to-back coming from behind wins against Virginia Tech and then Cal. Virginia Tech, who's been struggling for most of the season, and then Cal that everyone thought you were going to blow out. Like you said, Florida State shut them down. But you go to California and you're fighting for your life. Just like last week against Virginia Tech, fighting for your life. So, for me, Cam Ward is ridiculously good. That's the only way they're winning these games. But the fact that you're going down like this in back-to-back games is not a good sign at all, bro. And they're not even like, top caliber teams. What happens when they have to go play in the SEC championships at Clemson and they go down early? Clemson's not going to let them crawl themselves back like that. So
not on Dabo's watch. Not on his watch.
No. So that's what concerns me with Miami is just you should be blowing these teams out. They shouldn't even be in the game. But you letting them go up 30 and then you're like, all right, let's lock in now. It's not going to be like that every game. I tell you that. And so they got to figure that out. The defense, atrocious, bro. Just giving up everything to Cal. Like the running back, the quarterback. We have another Hispanic on as a QB just running all over them, bro. What's his name?
It's the Heritage Month, bro. I'm telling you, it's something in the air, bro.
I forgot
next year when it's Heritage Month, I'm not betting against the Mexican quarterbacks, bro. I'm telling you that right now.
What was his name? Martinez, I believe, if I remember correctly. Mendoza, bro. These dudes just run all over them. It was fucking crazy. I couldn't believe my eyes. There's just this Miami team that's hyped up to be so good because they have Cam Ward and everything. Offense solid, yeah, because they can put up points in a hurry. But that defense, man, maybe they recruited too much on offense. I don't know, but it wasn't pretty. They did get what's his name back on the defensive line, and he had he had some really good plays, and maybe that's what they need, just him to get back into the saddle and start getting things back together. But man, bro, this is not what I was expecting for them to go into Cal. And
look at the rest of the schedule.
I'm looking right now.
They got Louisville, right? They got Florida State, Duke, Georgia Tech, Wake, Syracuse. Where do they lose?
Duke?
Nah, they don't lose. Duke just got beat by Duke just took a L.
I know, but they can still lose to Duke.
To Georgia Tech.
Louisville can beat them. Florida State, for all I know now, because
okay, now no.
Listen. Like you just said it. Florida State shut down Cal.
True.
And now we saw Cal just, take it to the wire. What makes you think that Florida State can't just shut down Miami?
Nah, I'm not.
I don't know. I'm just saying, bro. So
I'm saying is maybe it was the late start time. They played at 10:30, and they had to travel a long time. That goes
10:30 our time.
Yeah, but I mean, it's late. They on a scheduled clock. It's different. They on the West Coast.
I don't know. I can see they struggle. They can struggle against Louisville, maybe Duke, and maybe Syracuse. But either way, if they went out, cool. But I don't know if I can pull them for the ACC championship just yet. They got to prove to me that they're Miami, because all this giving up 30 points and then trying to come back these last two games ain't gonna cut it, man. And that you can call me hater, whatever, but I lost a little bit of faith in Miami because ain't no
So
way you doing that 2 games in a row.
you have Clemson at number 1, Miami at 2, SMU at 3, Virginia at 4, Pitt at 5. Those are your top 5 right now.
Now, if they play at a Pitt or something like that during the season, I could see them losing, bro.
Yeah, Pitt's real. Pitt's a real deal.
Yeah, so they have a semi easy schedule going forward compared to the other side of the ball with Clemson and Pitt and all them. So if they win out, cool. But if one of them teams keep playing the way they're playing on the other side, I don't see Miami winning. And that's just going off of these last 2 games. Now, if they go forward and the defense figures it out and starts playing better, maybe I can give more confidence into Miami. But as of right now, I have confidence in their offense, but their defense is going to let me down 9 times out of 10 at this point. So I don't know.
Well, guess we'll see how that comes to an end. That is all the games that we're going to talk about. But James, I need to ask you a couple questions before you give me, hot off the press, because I know you got a lot of questions. I know you got something riled up over there. Who was your player of the week?
Player of the week, of course, is Diego, bro. He might not. He might not have had like 2,500 yards like Genty at Boise State, but he did take his team and beat the number 1 team in the nation and played well. So I had to give it to him, bro. And if I had to give 2, I'd give the second one to Genty because he only played the first half and had 186 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Killed my parlay because I needed him to go for 193, and they took him out the game. But that is what it is. But yeah.
I got Kevin Jennings from SMU, 21 for 27, 281 yards, 10 carries, 113 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. I don't know why they started Preston Stone at SMU instead of him. I'm not sure if it was a booster decision or whatever, but he might carry SMU to the ACC championship. It might come down to SMU and the big boys, and they can definitely beat Miami. Miami's not stopping him for sure, and they got the weapons on defense to stop him. I think, or Cam Ward, yeah. So, but all right, we'll go ahead and get off the Coke and Woke, and we're gonna go back to our fraud alert. But James, go ahead and let me know what questions you got. What's coming fresh from the James Donut Shop? Fresh off.
I thought you had questions for me. That was the only question you had for me.
Oh, I had one more question for you. Sorry. If Vandy makes it to the playoffs, can they win it all?
I don't know about winning it all.
Hear me this, because I'll tell you why I think they can win it all, or how the path. If TCU could go 2 years ago and go to the national championship,
that was 14 playout, bro.
Listen, it was still a fluke, as we see who they are now. With Diego Pavia, with the coaching staff, with the Nashville city behind them, with just the momentum of beating the number 1 team in the nation, they go play Kentucky this week. They're beating Kentucky. I'm putting that on my parlay right now. Vandy plus whatever they got for Kentucky. I don't care how good that defensive line is. If they can, let's just say they don't go to the SEC championship, but they're like 3rd. That means they're either, or not, they're maybe not even 3rd, they're 4th. Okay, and somehow they get in. because SEC wants 4 teams in, and they play Kansas State. They win that game.
Or I feel like Kansas State and Vanderbilt are close to the same team, but Vanderbilt has a little bit of more of an edge because Diego has that fire in him to go and get it, and which I don't think Avery has the same thing as Diego. So, but I think they're a close match in as like players and everything like that. I think it's just that mindset is just better for Diego. So I think they would beat Kansas State, but at the same time, so you beat Kansas State. The next team, let's say it's a Georgia or something like that. I don't know if they can have another game like they did against Alabama. Now, I say that just because it's a lot to just have that type of game against another caliber team like an Alabama, so a Georgia. It's just hard to just have that type of energy again. You know what I mean? And especially in a playoff game where emotions and everything are running high. So I don't know if they could make it to the championship and win it all, but they could make a run. I can see a third round out or something like that. Something close, but I don't know. I just don't see them being like these other top caliber teams.
Tell me who this reminds you of. A quarterback that's absolutely just has the energy to bring to his program, and a tight end. He has his main tight end that he throws to, and that's his main target. Who does that remind you of?
You talking about Brock Bowers or what was his name?
Johnny Manziel and
Oh,
Mike
Johnny
Evans.
Manziel. Mike Evans wasn't even a tight end, bro.
He was catching the ball.
I thought that's why I said Brock Bowers. I thought you were talking about a tight end. He's just a big ass receiver.
Well, he played tight end in the NFL now, so
he plays receiver still.
Hey, tight end, receiver, whatever you want to call him, he on the line. So that's what I know.
What are you talking about? We're not even. This is not even an NFL podcast. My fault. Go ahead.
All right, so that's a comparison. I think they can make that run, but that's a whole nother discussion. What a crazy week, right? You got any questions for me before I end the show?
Well, every question I was gonna ask you had already answered, but I'll give you this. Going forward, do we see one of these military schools making that 12th spot? We both have them undefeated for the first time since 1920 or 40 or whatever year it was. The last time they were both undefeated, we won a world war. So it's been a minute. Are they making it and making some noise, or is it just a one and done?
You tell me how. Let's just say a Boise State is going to prepare to take on Army in a game, or not even Boise State. Let's just say Clemson. They got to take on Army. How do you prepare for that in a couple weeks, in a week or two? Army is not just all option anymore. They run the spread too. They get
that's Navy.
Sorry, Navy and Army. But Army can pass the ball too. They got plays too. But Army got so many weapons, bro. And it's Army. You're not about to punk Army. You're not punking the service academies. You can maybe punk Liberty University or Tulane. You're not punking the service academies. Them boys go to war for real. Like, for real. They got a duty. If Army makes it to the 12-team playoff and wins a game, James, they would have to go to somebody's house, somebody's home stadium, and win. College football will probably be in the greatest space it has ever been. It'll blow up crazy next year. Absolutely blow up. Vandy might win the SEC next year if that shit happen.
Maybe this year. No, I'm just playing. But all right. So back to the Big 12. We see Tech is 5-1, and you didn't answer my question when I asked you this earlier. Are they the worst 5-1 team, or are they moving in the right direction?
They're moving in the right direction. Tech has weapons. They got a great running back. They got a decent quarterback. They're finally using their freshman wide receiver. They got targets. They got DJ Kelly that was at Washington State last year. So they got some targets, right? Defense is sometimes it's been shaky, sometimes it shows up and plays, right? It's just a 50-50 ball with the defense. So as long as Texas Tech can win a shootout because they like shootouts. That's just how they play. Some people play like get in his phone booth with me. We about to, square up. Get in his mud. We about to wrestle it out. Tech is like, hey, you on that side of the field. I'm on that side of the field. Let's see how many times I can get to that side. Let's see how many times you can get to this side. And we're fine with it. So Texas Tech definitely headed in the right direction. Headed in the right direction at 5-1.
All right. Where's Miami heading?
Hopefully back to Miami right now in a rehab from all that coke they did to win that game in California. No, I'm kidding. No, Miami's headed in a good direction. They got a bye coming up, so get some rest. Maybe not party too hard, but definitely get ready for this last push in the ACC because they can't slip up anymore. Some team will capitalize. Their well will run out if they keep pulling from it too much.
How many Heisman moments does Cam Ward have to give before it's just game over? Because obviously this is how they're going to play for now on unless they figure it out in the bye.
Cam Ward has to commit more than 3 turnovers for it to be game over. He's turnover prone. That's what one of the bad things about on this NFL scout report and coming from Washington State. He has more fumbles, I think like 42 or 45 fumbles when he was with Washington. Dang. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of fumbles that he had. So Cam Ward commits 3 turnovers and the team capitalizes on all 3. I don't see them coming back.
Okay. What does Alabama need to do going forward if they want to make this run into the playoffs?
Look themselves in the mirror and ask them what they want to do. Exactly what they want to do. But honestly, they got to come play every week, bro. You don't have your great motivator anymore. You got Kalen DeBoer, whatever the way he's doing it, this is the way this has to be rocking. You got to believe. I think everybody has to do their job. You can't out athlete everyone anymore. You can't do that. It's too spread out. The talent is too spread out. It's like dominoes. That's why I'm calling this episode "The Dominoes Keep Falling," because all the dominoes are falling and they're getting spread out everywhere in the ACC, the Mountain West, the Big Ten, even in your division, the SEC, as you see. Who was Vandy before Diego Pavia? Who was the quarterback before? I didn't even know Vanderbilt was in Nashville.
I didn't know that either.
They said they're carrying the field goal through Nashville. I'm like, where the fuck is Vanderbilt at? That they're carrying through Nashville. So not only did we lose in Nashville yesterday, not only we lose to Vandy, I'm not even my geography isn't even up to date to know that Vanderbilt was in Nashville. So I'm taking 2 L's. But yeah, they gotta come. It's an even playing field now. Come to work, come to play every day.
Are you worried about them not being as disciplined as they were under Nick Saban, as we saw close to the end of the game? Should it be something be worrisome going forward in the DeBoer era?
One of the main things with Nick Saban that he did a lot is he changed offensive coordinators. That's why you kind of had some years they were really good, and then some years they didn't. Like they lose a game or they get close to losing games, or they would lose in the championship. I think DeBoer may have a defensive coordinator problem. I'm gonna give one back. I'm gonna give him a chance to prove me wrong. You've been shitted on, right? And sorry for my language for this whole episode. It's just vulgar right now. Sorry, apologize. But you've been shitted on this whole. You beat Georgia, but they came back on you on your defense. You get a time to prep. Everyone knows you're going to Vanderbilt, and they do the same thing. They put 40 up on you. Vanderbilt put 40 up on Alabama. I would never thought I would hurt that for the longest that I live in college football. But here we are. And here you are. You got to travel back to Tuscaloosa, and you got to look the people in the face and say, we'll be better. And you better be better, because that doesn't fly at Alabama. No words. It's all action.
But about the discipline problem at the close to the end of the game. Is it?
That'll get corrected. I don't think that has to do nothing with Nick Saban or Kalen DeBoer, because everyone says that Kalen DeBoer really runs a tight ship. I just think it'll get corrected. I don't think it has to do nothing with Saban not being there. I think it has to do with you got your ass kicked by Vanderbilt and you're pretty mad. That's what I think it has to do with.
All right. That's all I got for you.
All right. Well, that was nice. Thought that was going to go a little bit worse than it was, but, good thing I have a wife that calmed me down yesterday after this loss. We appreciate y'all. As you can see, we got a new thing going on. I got a new overlay coming from me and James. It wasn't ready today, but it will be ready for the next time that we talk. James is going out of town, people. Don't want to give his location away, but he's going out of town, so he won't be here for the biggest week of college football. I will be here, and I will hopefully have a special guest that will show up and talk about the games. Wednesday, we'll have an episode come out for you. And then Friday, I have picks on our TikTok. We'll do videos. And then next Sunday or next Monday, we'll have a video out for you. Won't be James. We'll be a special guest. But James, tell the people that you're leaving on the most important week of college football.
Nah, ain't even that. Just I got vacation coming up. But I will be there for the Wednesday episode. It just won't be me on the Monday episode just because I got a lot going on that weekend. But I'm just missing that one episode, and then I'll be here. But sorry, I got shit to do. I got a life.
We appreciate y'all coming to listen to us. Please follow the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. It's free. We don't charge you anything. You just do one click and it subscribes to the YouTube so you can get alerts. Subscribe to the podcast. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify, Amazon, anywhere you listen to your podcast. We are on there. Like the video. If you want to come on to the show, send me a DM. Send me a message, tweet, anything like, hey, I want to come on the show. I want to talk about my team. I want to get your opinion. If you want to argue with me, you want to say that Alabama's worse than what I think they are, come argue. Because I got nothing but ammo. You feel me? If you want to say that Oregon's going to lose to Ohio State, I'm right here with you, even though I don't like Ryan Day. But hey, Over and Under podcast, this is a safe space. And yeah, that's just what we do over here. James, you got anything else for the people?
Nothing. I just like that little shot at Oregon. Like, we're not undefeated, but anyway, beside the point.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all for always tapping in and checking us out. Just keep subscribing and listening to the podcast. Keep sharing it. That's just how it brings in more audience and more things that we can do with the podcast, and we can grow more with it and everything. So, because we plan on doing this for a while, so appreciate y'all for always just coming in and just listening to us ramble. So, thank y'all.
All right, this is Charles and James. We out.